Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here. If you're joining us, it likely means you're thinking about running for a board seat. And first of all, I just really want to validate that. It is fantastic. Your community absolutely needs people who actually give a damn and want to step up to serve. But before you go out there and put your name on a ballot, we need to make sure you go in completely prepared rather than getting blindsided. We need a solid, actionable pre-campaign checklist. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our authoritative roadmap of the practical steps we're going to cover today. 1. Your motives for running. 2. The reality of board service. 3. The pre-campaign checklist. 4. How to actually campaign. And finally, 5. The final litmus test. All right, kicking things off with section 1, your motives for running. I want to ask you this directly, right out of the gate. Why do you want to run? Honestly, before you even think about filing the paperwork, you've got to answer this. And I'm not asking this to judge you. I'm asking because your underlying motivation is incredibly useful information for the journey ahead. Let's look at some common motives. If you're running because a specific issue in your community frustrated you and you want to fix it, that is completely valid. But remember, once you're actually in the room, that one issue rarely stays just one issue. The board has competing priorities, and your issue is just one piece of a giant puzzle. Now, if you can govern for the whole while advocating for your issue, you'll be great. What if you were asked to run by a trusted peer? Well, that's a very strong signal. Insiders usually know who belongs in the room. But if you're running because you want visibility, or worse, you're trying to settle a personal score, that's toxic. Honestly, find a different avenue. Maybe take up kickboxing. Boards built on personal agendas are just exhausting for absolutely everyone involved. Let's move on to section 2, the reality of board service. Time for a little reality check. And this brilliantly illustrates the stark contrast between the clean, public-facing image and the messy, behind-the-scenes reality every single board deals with. From the outside, boards look highly functional, right? You see public meetings, nice clean minutes, decisions that look perfectly deliberate. But the inside reality, it's the chaotic group chats, it's the palpable tension right before a big vote, it's the board member who hasn't spoken to 2 other members in 6 months, or an agenda item that took 3 consecutive meetings to resolve because of a conflict nobody wanted to name out loud. Now, regarding the time you think this will take, I want you to picture the number of hours in your head right now. Got it? Okay, now increase it by 50%. Whatever you are imagining, literally add half of that right on top. Because here is the true time commitment. Yes, you have your regular monthly meetings, sure, but board service extends way beyond that one room. You've got committee meetings. You'll be expected at community events and neighborhood gatherings. There might be city hearings. These obligations will aggressively bleed into your weekends, your evenings, and sometimes right smack in the middle of your workday. So you need to look at your actual life, your family, your job, and realistically ask yourself if you can handle this massive unpaid commitment without burning out. Okay, pivoting now to section 3, the pre-campaign checklist. This is the core actionable stuff. These are your 3 deliberate, sequential steps you absolutely must complete before you ever put your name on a ballot or fill out an application. Let's break them down one by one. Step 1 is absolutely non-negotiable. You have to attend the meetings as a community member multiple times. Think about it. You would never accept a job at a company without knowing the team's culture first, right? Well, these are potentially your future unpaid coworkers. Watch how the chair runs the room. Watch how they treat each other and how they handle conflict. I promise you, you're going to learn more in 2 live meetings than from reading any amount of organizational literature. Now, what's really interesting here is how drastically the rules change. So step 2 is checking your exact eligibility. For a civic board, you might need to live, work, or worship within specific boundaries. An HOA, you usually need to be a property owner in good standing, meaning no unpaid dues or violations. School boards usually require you to be a registered voter in the district, while nonprofits are governed strictly by their own unique bylaws. Do not assume you're eligible. Finding out you don't actually qualify after you've started campaigning is an entirely avoidable disaster. Step 3, understand what you're actually running for. The seats are definitely not identical. The secretary, for instance, isn't just an administrative afterthought. They manage records, produce public minutes, and serve as the institutional memory of the board. It is a heavy lift. An at-large rep and a committee chair? Vastly different duties. Officer roles come with different weight and public scrutiny. Also, you've got to know if the seat is elected by the public or appointed internally by the board. Running for the wrong seat wastes your time and theirs. All right, you've done the prep. Section 4, how to actually campaign. I absolutely love this quote from the source material. A face that's already familiar is easier to trust than a name on a form. This just hammers home the sheer necessity of showing up and being engaged in the community long before you ever ask a single person for their vote. So let's talk execution strategy. First, show up early. Let people see you're engaged before you're on the ballot. Second, and this sounds obvious, but you'd be surprised how often it happens, actually attend on election or appointment day. Especially for boards filling an internal vacancy, there might be multiple candidates on paper, but the board will almost always choose the person who actually bothered to be in the room when it counts. Third, do your homework. You don't need an opinion on everything, but you must be able to speak credibly about what the board is actively working on. Finally, clarify your why. Don't give some polished stump speech. Give a clear, genuine, honest answer as to why you want to step up and do this. Which brings us to our last stop, Section 5, the final litmus test. I want you to just sit with this stark question for a second. If you don't win, will you still come to the meetings? Will you still support the organization? Will you still show up for your community? If the answer isn't a resounding yes, well, you might need to rethink this. Board service isn't a prize to be won. It's a commitment to something much larger than the outcome of one single election. And you know what's amazing? The candidates who lose but keep showing up anyway often go on to become the most trusted, effective future board members down the line. The community is always watching you, even when your name isn't on the ballot. But hey, what if you do win? Well, congratulations. Now the real work starts. Before day one, read everything you can. The recent minutes, the bylaws, the active agenda items. Introduce yourself to your fellow board members immediately. The relationships you build in those first few months will completely dictate your effectiveness for your entire term. And finally, never forget why you ran. The daily grind makes it so easy to forget, so hold on to that core motivation. Which leaves me with one final question for you to ponder. Years from now, when your term is up, what is the specific legacy you want to leave behind in your community? Think about it. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and best of luck on your campaign.